Ebola in the United States. As of September 29th, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have reported 6,574 cases and 3,091 deaths due to the Ebola virus. For those of you who keep up with the news, I am sure you are aware of the Ebola virus and the fact that it has taken over West Africa, which has now made its way into the United States with one confirmed case and up to 12 people being monitored for the symptoms of the virus. The three most important pieces of information that we need to know about the Ebola virus in the United States is who is at risk, the signs and symptoms of the virus, and how the virus is transmitted. As I pursue my degree in the healthcare industry, I try to be aware of the health status of our country and our potential risk. The Ebola virus has raised a huge red flag for me now that it is confirmed in the United States. According to the World Health Organization, the Ebola virus, formerly known as the Ebola hemorrhagic fever, is a severe, often fatal illness in humans. It is transmitted to people from wild animals and is spread in the human population through human-to-human transmission. Here are the need-to-know basics for the Ebola virus. We need to be aware of who is at risk of the Ebola virus. First of all, everyone has the risk of being infected, but the number one people at risk include those with close contact with the person that has symptoms of the virus or the ones helping treatment. These people would include unprotected and protected healthcare workers. Family members and friends of the infected person are at risk as well. Now that we know who is at potential risk, the signs and symptoms are our next step. We need to know the signs and symptoms of the Ebola virus. The first symptoms include fever, fatigue, severe headaches, and abdominal pain. When a person shows the first symptoms of the virus, they are able to spread it. The second, more severe symptoms include diarrhea, vomiting, and internal or external bleeding. These symptoms occur when the person has become compromised by the virus. We are now aware of who is at risk and the signs and symptoms of the Ebola virus. Now on to transmission. We need to know how the Ebola virus is transmitted from the infected person to the non-infected. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, Ebola can only be spread to others after symptoms begin. Symptoms can appear from 2 to 21 days after exposure. During this incubation time period, it is highly important to be quarantined if you know you have had contact with an infected person to prevent spreading it. The Ebola virus is spread by coming in contact with body fluids from an infected person or contaminated objects. The use of proper protective equipment is a necessity when handling contaminated objects or while working with the infected person. The virus is transmitted from mucous membrane to mucous membrane and is present in the infected patient's droplets. The infected person's blood, semen, vomit, or sputum all contain the virus and must be disposed of properly. If the infected person's droplets come in contact with a non-infected person's mouth, nose, eyes, or into your body via a cut or needle stick, that person will now be infected and able to spread the Ebola virus. Now you are aware of who is at risk of the virus, the signs and symptoms of the virus, and transmission of the Ebola virus. It is very important that we are all aware of the Ebola virus. The virus has potential to spread across the United States, and the best thing to do is be prepared and knowledgeable. Prevention is a key component in the spread of any virus. keep up with the news, and try to stay aware of what is going on in the United States. We are all a part in whether or not the Ebola virus will take over the United States like it did to West Africa.